Welcome to the last Snow Talk of 2017, as I'll be out until Tuesday of next week, and we'll have a visiting face too with me next week that'll have you guys get a chance to meet. All right, weather-wise, 14 this morning right now. Anyway, we dipped to 11 here this morning. As expected, that we had a little bit higher dew points around. That did allow somewhat of a relief from us dropping too low like we did on Wednesday morning, but still it was cold nonetheless. In fact, it still got a wind chill below zero here in Louisville at 1 below. All right, so today would make day number 4 of the 32 or lower freezing period. Last time we had a streak that was fairly lengthy was 2010. The last time we had a white Christmas, by the way, 11 days. And the longest that we have, at least that can be found in the record, is 15 days back in 1966. Now, we have a chance to get above freezing tomorrow. A chance. If we don't make it, that 11-day streak is certainly going to be at risk. So this morning we do have quite a bit of cloud cover around. Let me get rid of the other layer of the satellite so you can see. It's hard to even tell because the sun's not high enough yet in the sky. But in general, we're talking about a mainly overcast setup here. There are some blue streaks built into some of this. This is a lot of this snow is aloft. Maybe a few flurries coming out of that. In general, the moisture trend today is going to be somewhere like this for any flurry action, and that's going to be later on for tonight as well. The rest of us will be left dry, and that's pretty much the flow. The way it's set up, it's kind of angled across the lower 48, where you get these little impulses that kind of ride the wave here on the edge of the really cold Arctic stuff. And every once in a while you get a split flow. You got one going to the south, but the majority of them just far enough north to keep them either only in our northern counties or just a slight chance even here to Louisville. But a lot of it is going to miss us. So let me show you one that, or a couple that have a chance. First off, tomorrow night, there's a chance for one this weekend that could impact Jackson, Lawrence County, Madison, Indiana to about Eminence and north. That is possibly a stripe of snow. Light snow may influence you guys. We'll monitor the angle of that because it's going to be a sharp cutoff to flakes flying and nothing flying. And then we have another wave that'll ride in behind it, but this one is just like a row of counties more to the south, and not every model has it, but the potential is there for it to drift in. And that one, if it were to develop first and move along a row of counties south of the previous one, then that one on Saturday could lay down another coating of snowfall over the area. So for the first one, I think the best chance for dusting is going to be far northeast sections here, wave country, and accumulated snow more for Ohio. And if that second one can develop, we can potentially move at least the dusting period a little closer to us here in the city. Just keep them on the ground so cold that any wave of snowfall period is going to be able to stick and cause slick spots, even if it's like 1/10 of an inch. Looking at our Buffett sounding here, reading it right to left in time. Here are the snow ratios today. Again, 20 to 25 to 1. Now they do drop to about 10 to 15 to 1 as we get more of a south wind. And of course, you need moisture to get anything decent when it comes to snowfall. You got to have a south wind. You got to add moisture to it. Sometimes we have too much and we end up going to all rain. But we have a little bit of a south wind that'll kick in to allow just enough moisture to give us maybe perhaps some of that snow there on Saturday. And then we get back to the dry air and the ratios go back up. Now we look at Madison, Indiana, and I added the wind profile here. You can see how for Madison the wind is southwest, adds moisture to the air. There you go, we get some snow. But then even with the north wind, as we get into Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve day, you got a north wind ratios of nearly 25, if not higher, to 1, and you got a bit of moisture there. So that's why I think the New Year's Eve thing, even if we get a little bit of moisture on New Year's Eve, a small amount can go a long way as far as just a snow shower that could coat the ground in some locations there. Let me show you the Euro's got. Euro's been performing better than GFS, that's for sure. And you notice here's that Friday stripe. It doesn't really have the Saturday wave. It would be kind of like a tail on this one here for Saturday. It doesn't have it. We'll see if the new run does later on. For the New Year's Eve setup, the system dives way to the south. It's actually a split. You got a piece of energy moving through the Ohio Valley, one to the south. They really don't meet up again until they're off the eastern seaboard. So that split flow, kind of like on the interstate here, kind of a widening of the road, the piece that splits off to the north may be enough to provide at least some flurries or light snow showers. Can't rule it out still for New Year's Eve. I know the models aren't too thrilled on it, but the setup would favor at least maybe some flakes flying around. Nothing significant. It will dive that southern piece, though, into the deep south, for them, giving them some snowfall. Then we get back to the bitter cold again, which then sets the stage for another wave to ride along the edge of that. But it's, of course, way to the south, so it becomes a southern snow. Snowing into Florida again. You know it's a rough year when, so far, Florida's on Panhandle, Florida anyway. It's got more snow than we've had here in Wave Country. But that is the potential for the first few days of 2018. Now, the thing is, there's another piece dropping down with this. Now, if the jet was angled a little more, I know it's a lot of if, and what, and buts here, but if it were to have been angled a little more sharper of the eastern seaboard, that piece coming down, we would have a full-on phased winter storm. Instead, this piece is going to swing right on the edge of the coastline, so this piece kind of follows with it. So they really don't get a chance to phase until they, because the topography or the geography here, the land works out, they don't meet up again until they're past us. We'll watch it, but even that northern piece can at least try to start its phasing process through the Ohio Valley, provide some snowfall in our area before it becomes fully phased off the East Coast. It becomes more of a headache for them near the 4th of January. And then the Euro is going game busters on the cold, Arctic cold, even colder than the one we got now, moving in later next week. And of course, school and work, everybody's back to the routine again at this point, so we need to watch that a little more carefully than the current one. Then we'll see if we can try to warm up or not. Overall, the MGO is going into a 2 to 3 phase. When you look at that on the charts, 2 to 3 is going to put us into still a cold setup all the way through about mid-January. Even like the Bering Sea roll, which takes the pattern of the Bering Sea and the Aleutian Islands here of Alaska, and you see the outline here of the United States. This is what it says the United States pattern should look like around the 20th through the 24th of January, and it shows certainly a colder pattern across the central part of the country in the Ohio Valley still throughout at least mid-January, maybe a bit later. And then it tries to at least warm us up. We get back into somewhat of a warmer pattern and try to shift the trough more to the west as we close out January. We'll see if that happens. Of course, if you want anything significant to happen, guys, I mean, you all know this by now if you pay attention to the blog, you got to warm up. Usually in these cases, when we come from Arctic air like this and try to warm up, we have to deal with an ice storm somewhere in the eastern part of the country. That almost happens almost every single time. Not every time, but almost every single time. We have to deal with a ice storm potential as we try to warm up. At this point, we don't have enough of a significant warm-up showing up that we get into an active wintry setup. So it's we get hints of it, but overall, the northern branch of the jet dominates, so we're just in clipper land for a while. Even the Rossby wave indicators have backed off a bit for February on snow chances. They still keep it going for late January, as we still will deal with the cold weather, it looks like, and then we may come out of this with some kind of a significant winter event for the month that's over with. I mean, the pattern is ripe for that, but when we head into February, we may find ourselves more into the back and forth and maybe out of the lasting cold. We'll see if that happens or not. But the Rossby wave indicators and organic forecast in general has not done too bad this year. It really hasn't, so it is worth paying attention to. That's it for now, guys. Try to stay warm. We'll keep an eye on these light snow chances. Otherwise, I got a feeling when I get back next week, we'll have more to look forward to showing up for you snow lovers coming up in the extended period. We'll see what pops in at that time. Have a happy new year. Stay safe, and I will see you on midday.